Portugal. When I was initially given the assignment to wait the Audi A6 press launch, I was feeling over a little cynical, paradisiacal location notwithstanding. Seriously, Globetrotters, you have to put Portugal with your bucket list. Its moves at Europe awaken. There was a time in the Avant the A6 was certainly one of Audi's #1 sellers, and also for the last couple of years it's been gathering cobwebs. I knew Audi had wonderful landmarks planned for your 2019 A6, but however good it could prove to be, and it ended up being quite good, it would still not have the prestige in the A8, the practicality on the A4, the appeal in the A5, and also the raw sexiness on the A7. The A6 would regularly be a largish luxury sedan, as well as in today's market, largish luxury sedans take the outs. So my hopes for that A6 weren't high yet, since you can probably guess out of this insufferably long setup, I found myself mysteriously won over, even when I didn't quite comprehend the attraction. Let's back and cover the preliminaries. The A6 is all new for 2019, however the pattern is comparatively unchanged. The new A6 is roughly exactly the same size because the old one on the outside of, but slightly larger contained in the product and bears a stiffer structure. Styling-wise, there aren't any big surprises, except perhaps for your big ugly radar sensors that interrupt the chrome lines in the grille along with the fake exhaust ports out back. Seriously, Audi? Fake exhaust ports? You had to look there? On the powertrain side, each .0-liter turbofan continues to be dropped, though Audi hints it may return, possibly that has a hybrid drivetrain. When US market A6s embark on sale this fall, all are certain to get the familiar 3.0-liter turbocharged V6 along with a standard mild hybrid system. Horsepower is unchanged at 340, even so the 369 lb-ft of torque represents a noteworthy 44 lb-ft increase. A 7-speed twin-clutch automatic transmission replaces last year's 8-speed conventional automatic, and quattro all-wheel drive distributes power all four corners. The delightfully twisty and distressingly narrow roads around Portugal's Douro Valley been shown to be a good destination to test out the A6's agility. The V6 had no trouble with the steep hills. Following the obligatory pause for your turbo to arise, the engine delivers a broad model of largely silent thrust. Upshifts and downshifts are prompt and smooth, even at takeoff, so much so that I were required to double-check the spec sheet to confirm that this was, indeed, a twin-clutch transmission instead of a traditional torque converter automatic. Steering is almost on a finger light and doesn't get much heavier when dynamic driving mode is selected. If I was offering this review 5 yoctoseconds ago, which, I suppose, would need a time machine, I can have dinged the A6 for though the older I get, the harder I appreciate light steering. Feedback isn't a substantial suit, but as I tossed the A6 from the near-constant string of bends, I felt like I was in perfect control. I was also grinning just like the proverbial idiot. Audi only had German-spec cars for people to drive, though they tried their very best to keep them as close to US-spec as you possibly can. One place where they failed was the suspension. They teased us with both air and steel sprung cars, although air suspension reportedly won't arrive at the US. I am a huge fan of air springs, because they provide the most effective mix of comfort and handling, but after sampling both setups on a similar roads, I can honestly say we aren't missing much. The air suspension did a somewhat better job of damping out small bumps and did actually transmit less road noise into your cabin, but handling was really near a toss-up. Speaking of road noise, that's another big change for your A6, it's incredibly quiet about the open road. Part of that is certainly down towards the lightweight hybrid system that enables the engine to seal down for a couple minutes at the same time at highway speeds. I never noticed the tech dropping to zero, but I was too busy marveling with the scenery with my drive partner. Still, despite having the engine online, the A6 is just as quiet to be a Buick, thanks largely to double pane glass and improved door seals that filter wind and road noise. I've yet to touch on what could be the biggest news in A6 land, a tech package to get over the band. The 2019 A6 will finally offer Audi's virtual cockpit as a possible option. VC can be a wide-screen instrument cluster that, among other tricks, permits you to shrink the gauges and display a full-width moving map with Google Earth imagery. This continues to be the coolest dashboard I have ever seen. I'm not nearly so enamored on the new multimedia interface MMI, also based in the 2019 A7 and 2019 A8. It uses two touchscreen monitors, a 10.1 panel up top with an 8.6 screen below with the climate controls. Low-end A6s could possibly get a slightly smaller screen up top. This is Audi's first touchscreen display, plus it responds to touches with haptic feedback, a little vibration with the screen along that has a muted click on the speakers. Basic navigation functions work just like more complex than every other German car. One nifty addition is perhaps you can write out letters or perhaps entire words about the lower screen, say, for programming a destination, because you used to do for the Audi's old touchpad. But in addition to its use like a writing tablet, I'm less fond on the lower climate control screen. I must interject that I think the brand new A4 and A5's climate controls, which use dials with the temperature, metal toggle switches, and monochrome display icons that enlarges when your fingers get at the buttons, are the pinnacle of perfection. The A6's touch panel has a long glance away from your steering wheel to obtain the right spot, although it's designed to let you tap or swipe to improve temperature or fan speed. It's considerably more finicky than computer ought to be. It also adds additional layers of complexity. Let's say you intend to fiddle together with the rear AC. First, press considered one of the icons for the lower screen, that literally brings up a menu within the upper screen. Next, press rear, that's liable to bring up the rear AC controls around the lower screen. Now you can make the many adjustments you wish, and you also need to manually close the menu about the upper screen. And if you would imagine my explanation is needlessly complex, try using it while darting down narrow, curvy roads and dodging oncoming Renault panel vans driven by boys more interested in their phones than avoiding head collisions. Audi carries a great system inside the A4, why make it more technical? Audi's solution is that they expect most buyers make use of their voice response system, not just to the AC, nevertheless for all secondary controls. At one staffer's urging, I tried pressing the voice button and saying I'm cold, but as opposed to turning within the heater because he expected, it tried to give me directions towards the nearest courthouse. That said, the plethora of screens all go dark if the car is turned off, as well as the effect is exceptionally cool. This brings me to a new nifty A6 feature, the ambient lighting package, such as light piping around the doors and center console, as well as a backlit quattro badge around the passenger's side on the dash. The colors could be changed. If you select dynamic mode, the lights about the center console go red or blue since you turn the temperature up or down. A feature almost cool enough for making me want to make use of the A6's overly complex AC controls. As a man who spent years writing for car consumer pubs, I always liked the existing A6's value for money equation. Audi hasn't announced pricing, However, they did show that the A6 is certain to get genuine leather upholstery as standard as opposed towards the leather utilized in entry-level Beamers and Benzes, as well as being a panoramic sunroof. It's beginning for speculation, but I'd be blown away if the A6 doesn't undercut similarly equipped 5s and A-classes by the significant margin. That said, I don't expect the A6 as a particularly strong seller. SUVs are the place that the action is, and Audi buyers seem perfectly content to pay the extra dough to the similarly sized and significantly sexier A7. If the expected gas price Armageddon relates to fruition, it's likely the strong-selling Q5 and A5 Sportback could be the beneficiaries. The 2019 Audi A6 is really a car whose time, inside US a minimum of, has arrived and gone. Still, this new addition is compelling enough to produce me worry about it, and considering how little I expected when I first put down on this adventure, that's saying a whole lot. 2019 Audi A6 specifications. Fall 2018. Price: $56,000 estate. Engine: 3.0 liters turbocharged Dock 24-valve V6 340 HP at 5,006, 400 RPM, 368.8 lb-ft at 1,3704, 500 RPM. Transmission: 7-speed dual-clutch automatic. Layout: 4-door, 5-passenger, front engine, AWD sedan. EPA mileage: Na. LXWXH 194.4 by 74.2 by 57.3 inches, wheelbase 115.1 out of. Weight: 3,880 pounds, 060 miles per hour, 5.1 seconds estate. Top speed: 155 miles per hour.